Hey guys, just putting this together as promised, just to talk about the trades that I took today over the New York session. Before I kind of get into that, I did take trades over the Asia session as well, and I'm not going to go through all that today. I got the minimums that I needed for the Tradeify accounts as well as some of my TopStep accounts, but specifically for this trade today, there were two trades that were taken. One was right off the first 30 minutes, and the other one was a short trade later on. And so the first trade was actually taken with my competition account. It was just a little bit of a build up to some trades I had already taken on the Asia session as well. But for those following me on Instagram, I did make a comment that I noticed that because I didn't trade on Monday, I dropped from I think rank number 18 all the way down to 27 it was in the ranking for the competition. So I decided to put some work into that account today. And so I haven't updated yet, but I'll probably post it later on. But thanks to the action that I took over Asia and also the trade over the New York session, I managed to get myself even higher than where I was before. So I'm actually ranked number 12 now out of 4,000 contestants on the MFFU Futures competition, which is really cool. And I think one of the goals I had for myself was to be able to if I wasn't going to make it to the top, at the very least, be at the top as a Canadian trader. So as of right now, at this moment in time, I am ranked the highest as a Canadian trader. So that's very cool to see. Obviously, not everyone's competing, but out of 4,000 contestants, I will take that as a win for now. So anyways, I'm going to go into the details of the trade. I kind of pre-marked everything just to kind of provide some clarity and what I'm looking at here. But so the first trade I took was actually the news candle here. So let's talk about this. So when news hit, I didn't take it right away. So I noted here, I'm going to enlarge this so it's easier. At 7 a.m., my comment was, I'd love to see us put a failure to go lower candle at this fib line. Now, there's no fib line there anymore because obviously the chart has moved since then, but there was a fib line there at the time. And on top of that, my thought process was if we can hold above the trigger line, which is the blue line here, then I'm looking for NQ longs at entry at 19,527. And so when we opened, it did come down. And then afterwards, when we created that failure to go lower candle, I took my entry of longs. Now, I don't usually trade news candles. I was honestly just shooting the shits here and testing the theory out of the fibs and the trigger line. I'm still kind of playing around with the FF indicator on seeing what type of setups I like most with it. And so that was probably the quickest 100 point trade I've ever taken because it was honestly less than a minute that this basically moved from here all the way up, and that was about a 100 point trade. So I closed that position out. And at that point in time, after that trade, I was done with the My Fund of Future competition account. So I think I put in $4,000. And I think I did post that actually on Instagram already. But anyways, I made 2,000 over the Asia session and 2,000 over the New York session. So then I was done with that. So that was the first trade that I took. And so the second trade that I took, I did not take this immediate after. I obviously kind of waited to see and settle what was happening next. So the next trade that I took was actually here. So I was looking at what we were going to see if we were to resist. So first and foremost, it was good to see that we were continuously putting in lower highs. People know I like watching for that, right? And then we were also resisting. So this candle, bar one was what caught my interest first, right? So bar one caught my interest because we were resisting a channel that I had drawn as a measurement from the overnight session before. And so that was kind of bar one thought. We also kind of held below the action line here with the resistance. The second thing was bar two. So we pushed below the trigger line here for the FF indicator. And so for me, as we got the action line, resistance, rejection, lower high of the channel, we got the trigger line here as well. So then I took an entry on the third candle. So when this candle opened up, it opened up here, right? And so we got the initial push down, which was really good. And I entered this candle at 19,475. That I have to say that failure to go lower candle that it ended up turning up into got me a little worried. I had my stop loss just right up here, and I'll show you in a bit here what I meant by that. But anyways, I held on to it, and you can see that we did hold below this line here, and this was just based on prior overnight support. So kind of overnight support turned resistance, and then I held it. And so I'll zoom this up here now. I made the comment that I was looking to short, going to take a stab at NQ shorts at 19,475, and I would like to tag the 19,405 as a target which was about 70 points. So that's what that was that comment there. And you can kind of see I was kind of screenshotting the action there. This is the candle that I trimmed at. This was one of two cons trimmed for 70 points at 19,405. And then I continued to watch it go down. Now, this is where, and I made the comment on Instagram, but this is where I made the one mistake. So when I look at this trade, I was very happy with my execution. And reason being why I was happy with my execution was because of the fact that I didn't let any psychological tilt get carried forward from the day before. Now, I missed out on a really big meltdown of a day on Monday because I just couldn't trade it, right? And so I think it showed a lot of growth for me as a trader as well as discipline to have come into the day and still have the patience to wait for the right setup. I think the old me probably would have either, gotten late and chased the position, or I would have just rushed the trade because I want to make what I missed out on the last day, on Monday, that is, right? So anyways, all in all, I'm very happy with the execution. But then there was one thing that I noticed after the trade was done. I realized it was one mistake I made, and this isn't one of those things where I'm saying, "Oh, I made the mistake and I could have, would have, should have" type of deal. It was truly a mistake because I had actually marked a spot of rejection or support bounce that I was expecting, and it did happen. But had I recognized that during the trade, I would have just taken profit and I wouldn't have held, to be honest. Um, so, anyways, I'll go into that in a little bit here. This is just to show the trade with Top Step. So I was trading on TopstepX. So I was using the FF indicator on TradingView as a guiding tool to take the trade, but the trade itself happened on TopstepX. So I kind of had two screens pulled up at the time. But at this point in time, I had already trimmed. So when I noted here that I had trimmed off that candle already, which is the reason why you only see one con now. At this point, I had one con left as a stop loss, and that was just right above the trigger line there. And so that's where we were. Now, as we worked our way down, it did bounce off this area, and I'm going to show you why it bounced off there later. But I did basically get stopped out here because I moved it down, and I basically used the lower high as my stop loss, and we did spike above. So I stopped out my last contract before about 134 points, which is still honestly a pretty solid trade. But I absolutely did leave about 1,000 or $2 by not taking profit when I should have. Now, what I mean by that is, so this is the screenshot. So on my other chart that wasn't my FF indicator, I had pre-drawn a channel already. And you can kind of see here, this right here is this candle, and then this bar is this bar, and you can kind of see where I got stopped out. I had drawn this channel well in advance already, and so it was definitely my oversight by not recognizing it. The moment that we held resistance, or sorry, the moment that we struggled to push further down, I should have just taken profit, but it's all good. I mean, in the end of the day, it was still a really great trade overall, but I'm just showing you guys, like I'm obviously very critical about my trades, and I look back and I back test, and these are the things that help us fine tune our trading so that we can ensure that we don't make the same mistakes, but then also so we know how to recognize when a good trade's in place. Because as you can tell, that bounce was a pretty solid one. Because even if you didn't take the initial entry, whether you want to take the double bottom or the triple bottom, like let's just say we took it from here, 311. I mean, that move up all the way up here, that's still a 150-point move, right? So if you caught the longs on that off that channel, that would have been an amazing trade. I was already on the road at this point. So after I got stopped out, I was out to work. I wasn't trading anymore. But overall, though, just talking about, for me, as I look back at the trade, what I could have done better. And then I note this down in my journal. Again, as you guys have seen my prior videos of this, I talked about how I use TraderStat as my form of journaling, and it really does help me and refer to my notes. But all in all, that's kind of the trade review of what I took. And for those who are just seeing this video for the first time, this is the FF indicator that I've been kind of talking about, and I have specific accounts that I'm using to trade because I do want to see what type of trade stats that I get out of using the FF indicator. But so far, it's been pretty good. The couple accounts that I use are averaging between 70 to 80% win rate, which has been pretty solid overall. But anyways, that's just kind of my quick 2 cents on trade review. Hopefully that added some value. If there's anything, as always, drop a like. It means a lot to me. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you have any questions or comments, just leave it in the comment box and I'll do my best to respond back to you as well. Anyways, I'll see you next time, guys.